Hello and welcome back to the video on Respect and to another edition of AEW Collision Out 10. And Full Gear is next weekend, so this spent a lot of time hyping the pay-per-view up. However, we still got plenty of action. The Righteous and Lance Archer had their first match as a unit, but they had the tall task of Sting, Adam Copeland and Darby Allin. We also saw some big matches including Willow versus Julia, Nick Wayne versus Dalton Castle, and much more, starting off with Garcia against Andrade. And after the usual series of quick promos in the intro video, Andrade made his entrance for the opening match against Garcia in a shocking twist, and CJ Perry joined Eddie Lowe as his manager. Daddy Magic and Cool Hand Ange only follow Garcia as far as the stage. Lowe had the size and experience advantage in this bout, but Garcia was skillful enough to make it feel like a competitive bout. Both men had time to taunt each other, but Lowe was the only one used to it as an opportunity to take control. They traded the upper hand several times throughout the match to keep us guessing about the outcome. This was a great technical matchup between a veteran and an up-and-coming talent in ahead of the curve. The longer the match went, the better it got. Garcia tried to escape, but ultimately ended up tapping out to the figure of 8. And yeah, it gets 7 out of 10 from me. I thought this was a really strong match. Andrade getting a win for me, the right decision, but I think Garcia, the whole stuff with Lana as well, made sense. And yeah, just a really fun match to kick things off. Before it's time for Nick Wayne versus Dalton Castle, Cage and Luchasaurus accompanied Wayne for his match, who had the boys with him in Dalton Castle. Castle outclassed Wayne in size, power, experience and technical ability, but the 18-year-old rookie was a bit quicker on his feet and had his allies at ringside who could cheat. Despite some early taunting from Wayne, this match mostly consisted of Castle overhyping and out-wrestling him. He tried to make an example of Wayne and seemed to be succeeding for a long time. Luchasaurus and Cage provided distractions for Wayne that allowed him to hit a springboard cutter for the pin and the win. This was a solid performance from Wayne, but Castle needs to start getting some wins at some point. So yeah, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. I thought it was decent enough, but without being anything unremarkable. But you know, Wayne gets momentum, keeps building up, I suppose. Before it's time for Rush and Jalisco versus the Workhorsemen, Drake and Henry were already in the ring when Rush made his entrance. Workhorsemen are a talented team who were able to get in some offense, but this was about as predictable as Sunrise. The fight lasted longer than expected and probably a few minutes longer than it needed to, given how the ending was a foregone conclusion, but Drake and Henry getting more screen time is never really a bad thing. So yeah, I suppose it gets 6 out of 10 from me. Big win for Rush and Jalisco. Obviously they're in a tag title match coming up, so yeah, much needed win for them. Gets Workhorsemen and Telly, but you know, comfortable win and we all knew where this was going. Our next match was Roderick Strong and Darius Martin meeting for the 4th match of the night, but Roddy had Taven and Bennett with him and put Martin at an immediate disadvantage. The Messiah, the backbreaker, tried to make this quick, but Martin wasn't going down with our fight. This easily could have been a short squash, but we ended up getting a pretty competitive fight between a talented high flyer and a gifted technician. Despite the 24-year-old's best effort, Strong was able to keep him down for the 3 to pick up the win. This was filler, but entertaining filler nonetheless. So yeah, it gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought big win for Roderick. Obviously, with that story with MJF and Adam Cole, it's still intriguing to see where it goes, but he made a miracle recovery here. What an incredible athlete. And yeah, gets a big win over Darius Martin. Our next match was Willow Nightingale versus Julia Hart, with the winner getting a TBS title shot in a triple threat at Full Gear. And Brody was with Julia as she made her way to the ring to battle Willow Nightingale. And yeah, Willow evilly overpowered Hart and threw her to the mat as the match started. King then yanked Hart from the ring and barked back at Willow as she barked at the crowd. Hart kept finding ways to counter Willow's power and take control in a way that seemed believable. And then Nightingale would find a way to overpower again. They went back and forth like this several times, but Hart had to rely on King when things got too much for her. The former strong champion hit a signature powerbomb and left the door open for Hart to hit a moonsault to score the win. The end of the match needs to deflate the crowd a bit after what was mostly enjoyable affair, so I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. I don't know, I thought it's a hard one to call. I would like to see both be involved in an actual threat match. So yeah, it gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I thought, you know, a relatively decent match. Maybe wasn't convinced on the ending too, but I don't know, I'm going to say it was the right winner. And I think Julia Hart will add a lot to that match, but I do also wish Willow was in it too. Powerhouse Hobbs then had a quick squash match against the guy who's going to spend most of the weekends licking his wounds. Hobbs and White almost got into a fight afterwards, but it ended before anything could happen. Yeah, that's about all it was to it. I'm not going to make great because it's so short. Before it's time for Darby, Sting and Copeland versus Archer and the Righteous. Both teams gave promos earlier in the night, hyping up the showdown. Whenever Alan was in the ring, this match was about his usual risk-taking style. Whenever Sting was in the ring, this match was about fan service. Copeland was saved for a hot tag at the end, so we saw less of him. You know what we're getting when certain matches get played out, this was kind of one of them. The heels would isolate one guy until they made a hot tag, and then they would do it all over again. It's a well-tested formula for multi-man bouts like this, and it keeps the crowd invested. The bout occupied for the final 20 minutes of the show did a decent job closing things out, but this was far from being the best thing we saw on Saturday night. Yeah, I don't know. After Ailing took the damage, a majority of the damage, he made the hot tag to Copeland, who got the spear to Vincent. And yeah, that's about it. Baby faces go off with a win. I don't know. We kind of all saw it coming, but at the same time, it worked pretty well here. And yeah, good to see some big stars involved. Sting having another match before he retires, so I'm not going to complain about it. It gets a 7 out of 10 from me. Overall, AEW Collision gets a 6 out of 10 from me. I don't know, I thought, yeah, it was a pretty solid, if unremarkable episode of Collision, to be honest. I thought, there was some fun matches on there, but at the same time, it kind of felt like a building episode without, anything too major going down. So, yeah, I'm going to give it a 6 out of 10. It was okay without being, kind of blow away brilliant. But anyway, guys, that's the video. Thanks so much for watching. Like, share, subscribe. Next week's for daily wrestling news and subscribe to the channel. It's going to be greatly appreciated. Thanks so much for watching. Peace out.